Gamer Feed Radio.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. This is Gamer Feed Radio. It's the sort of thing where we talk about video games. This is episode 40. We're talking about Mega Man this week, the Blue Bomber himself. More on that in a moment, but first we need to bring in the rest of our crew here. Joining us here today, we've got our full Gamer Feed Radio crew. Nick Jellicave, Brad Wallace, and Kyle Pope.
What's up, everybody?
What up, yo?
I thought we should do a group intro since it's theme appropriate this week.
Well, I love
Sure.
that.
That was amazing.
We got Brad
was
Man,
great.
we got Nick Man, we got Kyle Man, we got Rob Man.
Rob Man is really the only one that sounds
What's
like
your
him.
special power?
I can't talk
Mine's
about it in
coughing.
public.
No, yours is talking excessively about overhyped video games.
Brad's power is hype. He opens his mouth and waves.
Like, I don't even know
music
if
waves
these games
come out.
are overhyped, but when you talk, you make them overhyped.
PT, greatest interactive experience of my life.
One of his top 50 in the top 10.
It's my top 10 PS4 horror first-person games.
You're a liar.
Are there that many?
No.
There's like 3.
That's why it doesn't matter. Anything that he says.
Anyway.
Hey, you back up.
Yep.
Anywho. Hi, Rob.
Off to another solid start here, gentlemen.
Hey, come on. My Brad Man joke was top-notch.
It was
That's
all right.
fine.
No.
Come on.
It wasn't.
Yes, it was.
All right, let's roll.
With your aqua sonar superpower.
So, Bradman, I see that as being like one of those those little brass fasteners that you use to
Brad Man.
Yes.
Can you hand me a Brad Man?
Oh, my God.
What?
Nick Man, I see you putting small dents in your furniture.
Nick,
And borrowing
yes.
games and not giving them back. That's
Oh, I totally meant to do that today. Yeah, you've been meaning to do that for like 3 damn years.
You don't text me right before and remind me, so I forget.
It's because when I do, you still forget.
That's not
Oh,
true.
my God.
And then
Mom,
Kyle Man,
Dad,
I'm sorry, I don't have
Mom,
anything
Dad,
for you.
stop it.
Please stop.
That's actually that's kind of funny. Anyway,
I mean, I'm just, yeah.
You're just Kyle,
I'm
man.
just Kyle, man.
Kyle, man.
Yours
Kyle,
says a-
comma,
you
man.
actually say it much better in your voice than in his voice.
Yours is the only robot master with a comma.
Yeah.
Kyle.
Kyle, man. Cool stuff. Cool
Oh,
stuff.
Brad, knock that off.
What did you do?
I didn't do anything.
There was
wasn't me.
sounds.
Yes. But for right now, the microphones are still working, so let's not change that,
Don't
Brad.
touch anything.
See how you
touch
guys treat
things.
me this episode. I'll unplug everybody.
All right, so let's start off today with our random access segment. It's our regular segment where we talk about any random thing that comes to mind. What we got for this week? Anybody?
You know what? I haven't really been able to talk. This might also count as like a save point kind of thing, but I haven't been able to. I want to talk about Dragon Ball XenoVerse.
Yeah, go
And, just like how much I've been enjoying it so much. I mean, I've made my own Saiyan character. Her name's Ryther. I named her after my Dragon Ball fan fiction when I was a kid.
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, I was
We
like,
went to a very nerdy place very quickly. My Dragon Ball fan fiction.
Don't worry,
I'm
Brad.
sorry.
You're next.
We cut
I'm
right
sorry,
through it.
man.
Like,
I'm
that
sorry.
was straight
Dude,
to
I
the
was
source.
okay. First of all, I was 10. Okay,
yeah,
just
totally.
chill, just
I
chill.
understand.
Okay, I was 10 years old when I made this. But dude, Dragon Ball was like, that's my life, man. Like, Dragon Ball Z was everything about people buy Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And that was their nerdy thing. But mine was 100% Dragon Ball Z. I play the card game. It's dope. I love it. I'm not as good as I used to be, which makes me very mad.
You can tell by the look on your face.
Yeah, I mean,
Tense there for a second.
War face.
And when I was like 12 years old, I played the game. The game was around from 2000 2005. Then it got destroyed when Square Entertainment went under, and then Panini 10 years later brought it back, and I squealed like a little girl. I did.
I really want a demonstration of this because you said that you do this before.
Squeal?
Yes.
Squeal like a pig.
Yeah, I just capped
Dear
the.
God.
Wow, we almost got one of those on last week's show when we showed him Alexander from Final Fantasy XIV.
Oh my God! Yes, it got close. It got
That
close.
was more like man tears.
Yeah, no, I was literally in awe, just straight awe. But okay, Xenoverse.
Yeah.
What I want to talk about. It's really weird because like it's a fighting game, but I feel like it's more of an MMO. Like it's a MMO disguised as a fighting game. Because the fighting system isn't perfect. I will be the first person to come out and say that it's not perfect. It can get kind of weird, kind of glitchy, but everything else is really good. Like the social features and being able to team up with characters and take on these side missions and I mean, not characters, but like other people, like online. And the whole hub world is just everybody's walking around and the characters are so cool. Everyone's made really cool characters. Like James made Vegetard.
Vegetard is
It's
the
just like
funniest
a
thing I've ever seen.
dumb saying Vegeta face. Oh, it's
No
so
nose. It's
good.
like
No
fat
nose.
face.
It's so good.
It's hilarious. We should post that on the Facebook, actually.
Yeah, we
Now that I'm thinking
should.
about it.
And
The Facebook.
The face.
you know, I think it's definitely the most ambitious game they've made in a while in Dragon Ball. Because I played the Budokai games, Budokai Tenkaichi games. Those games are awesome and very precise fighters. Like some of the better fighters from the PS2 era.
Did you say the Bitest fighters?
What?
Best fighter.
Best.
Why did I know? It didn't sound like
I
it.
said best.
'Cause
I
you're
might have said
paying
biased.
half attention.
I'm
Yeah.
shush.
Because you're on your phone.
Sorry,
Not on my phone.
but yeah, just the customization, all the costumes, all the characters, all the side quests. You know, and you also get to relive all the classic fights. There's a great story mode where, like, you know, your future Trunks, Dragon Ball Z fans might understand this, other fans might not. But your future Trunks and you are fighting to restore history the way it is. And then there's like these three demon guys who one is a sister of one of the villains, Deborah, which I thought that was a cool little bit of like lore they threw in. There's like, oh, Deborah's sister, cool. And you got to fix history. And I haven't beaten it yet. I'm getting close. I think. I have no idea. And it's just good. It's good old. If you're a Dragon Ball fan, I give it a solid 9 out of 10, which is a great score. If you're not a Dragon Ball fan, I'd give it 8 out of 10 because you might be thinking, like, this is a fighting game. Well, no, it's not exactly a fighting game. It's MMO. It's got all these great MMO features, RPG features. And, you know, as a fighting game alone, yeah, it might not hold up as well, but still good.
Nice.
So, yeah, I just kind of nerdgasmed everywhere.
Go for it.
That's all right. We'll clean it
No
up.
shame.
Wait, what did you just say?
What?
This is Gamer Feed Radio.
Wow.
What else do we have for the random access segment? I got
just,
something.
I just replayed a game called Res HD, which is a game that I haven't talked about a whole lot on the show, but is my second favorite game of all time. And this
Oh, here we
is
go.
solid. It's Ocarina of Time #1 in the Res HD because it was a PS2 game re-released on 360. Kyle? Did you ever see that game? Did you ever come over and play it? It's this techno shooting.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
God, I love that game.
Yeah, okay.
I replay it.
You know
like,
what? This is gonna be the one time where I'm gonna back up Brad.
love
here.
this
It is pretty.
It has this
cool.
awesome
It's pretty
soundtrack.
freaking cool.
It's like all these Japanese DJs.
yeah,
and it's so
super.
Good. It's really trippy.
Also, the most Japanese thing I think you'll ever see Brad
dude.
play.
Yeah, yeah, no, literally. When you guys were talking about Final Fantasy and like JRPGs, I'm thinking like my love of Japan is like Hideo Kojima and Tetsuya Mizuguchi, who made Res, and its PS3 360 sequel, Child of Eden, or prequel. But I love Res HD. If any of you listeners out
It's
there have a
pretty cool.
360, it's like $10 on the arcade. I love it. It's amazing.
It's obscure,
It's very obscure.
especially for someone who's gonna put it on the like, best games ever list. But
But there's something about it. Like it's the
it's pretty
soundtrack,
cool.
it's the
It's
gameplay.
pretty cool.
It's an on-rails shooter, so you're only controlling your reticule cursor to like highlight enemies and kill them. But as you highlight enemies, you're doing it to the beat of music, so it times you based on how on beat you are and stuff. It gets really hard, and it's just extremely replayable because you're trying to get high scores and percentages, and the graphics are like unbelievably good. The soundtrack, like I've said a billion times, is unbelievably good. It's one of the few games I ever like 100%ed on 360. Got like every achievement, every high score, perfect score, everything. I love it.
Cool.
Highly recommended.
not to gloat, but I'm pretty proud of this. My first one I ever 100%ed was Arkham Asylum. I was pretty
Nice.
excited about that. Not Arkham City. That's way too much time.
Yeah.
Arkham City is too big, Too big.
Word.
Speaking of soundtracks, as Brad was, I've been spending a lot of time lately listening to my Smash Bros. soundtrack
Yes,
that I got.
I love it. Love. I'm so glad they included.
Nick's back. Hey, Nick's here, guys.
I'm so glad they included the Gerudo Valley music from the 3DS version. Oh my gosh, it is so good. I want to play it right now through my phone speakers, and I don't care. I might do it. There's nothing you can do to stop me, Rob. Anyway, go ahead.
So, favorite tracks?
Obviously, Gerudo.
Yes. Since you broached the topic.
Well, now I have to
Wait,
look
is this
through my
from New
list.
Smash Bros?
I have it on.
Yeah, there's basically a disc for the Wii U and there's a disc for the 3DS, so you get
cool.
the 2-disc set.
Oh, that sounds awesome. I want this now.
There's a really good Xenoblade Chronicles medley that has like the Gowerth Plains done like butt rock.
I remember the Mega Man 2 medley was really cool. The Mega Man 2
Oh
medley.
my god!
But it's not in the. It's
Didn't
not
make the
in
soundtrack,
there. Didn't
but-
make the soundtrack.
That's the one we heard at the top of the show,
Which
was
is
the
horrible that it's not on the soundtrack.
Well, that's the victory theme from.
Because let's go ahead and add in a character like Mega Man and then not put it on the soundtrack.
What?
Is that dumb?
Oh, Nintendo, you're dumb.
And then they put in things like that they do have the rights to, like Ends Magic Castle.
Well, Gower Plain, Dark Pits
Well, okay.
theme.
Well, I mean, nowadays Monolith is pretty much a second party anyway. So
Why you gotta be a hater like
I'm just saying.
Why you got?
But there's a really good Metroid remix that I liked on that on the blue disc. There's a really good. They really did some nice remixes for both Punch Out and Duck Hunt. That were really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't play any more music.
I'm not going to, but the moral of the story is in love.
Yes, very good.
Do they have? So do they just have a bunch of like random tracks?
Yeah, it's like
from
36 or 37.
It's not. Some of them are direct from the game. Some are new.
Some are new. Okay,
new
cool.
rearrangements.
Cool. Well, I always loved a lot of the new rearrangements, like the temple theme from Zelda 2.
Which is
Oh my god, that's
super good.
one of the best Smash
Which is
Bros.
in
songs.
here.
And
It
it's
is in
pretty
here.
much a direct from the game.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and also they did a really good remake of. Oh god, it was from Kirby. It was a gourmet race theme from Kirby Superstar.
Okay.
It was also like sort of King Dedede's theme too. Like
I'm not as familiar with that series, but there are 3 or 4 tracks over the 2 discs from Kirby, so I'd imagine it's probably
Kirby to me had some really good soundtracks. Yeah. Like I mean, if you're a big Kirby fan, you know what I'm talking about. Like especially Kirby Superstar. Loved it. One of my favorite games ever.
I only ever played Kirby 64. I never played like the SNES or NES ones, like any of that.
You're missing out, dude.
Yeah.
You're missing out, bro.
No, I had the Game Boy Advance one, which I think was a remake of one of the Super Nintendo
Well, we
ones.
may have to jam after this so you can listen to some of it because it's quite excellent. Other things,
Star
Rob?
Wolf theme, yeah.
Because I have
That's
I
awesome.
16 random things.
I'll just
We've
go
already
through
been
the list.
going
for like 12 minutes
Here's the
already.
list. HTC M9 for those who care about cell phones. Since we talked about the demo, I try to slip one in to keep it the techie people. The Xenogears demo. We talked about demos last week.
Yeah.
There's actually a really great article recently on the many sites that I perused during the day that was talking about how the Xenogears demo when it came out. This is a shout out a little bit to Andy Scheit, who will definitely comment on this under the show on Facebook. It was an excellent example of what a demo should be, although it was a little cliffhanger-ish at the end. I'll allow him to elaborate online. What do you think about the Bard in League of Legends, Brad? Do you know anything about it?
League of Legends does not occupy any space in my brain.
Interesting.
As
'cause
much
that's
as I like to
so up your-
semi-follow, yeah, like all these mobile
No,
games.
he does Dota.
Dota, and,
Yeah, that's
Well, I don't know
his
anything
thing.
about
Heroes
it
of the
either, but I
Storm,
put it on here because I thought maybe you'd know, but that's just goes to prove how useless you are.
Fail.
For those people who have Xbox, Goat Sim is coming to you. So for people who like to chuck goats off of buildings, apparently it is a hoot, I'm told. And
Yeah, Goat Simulator is a
hilarious.
really
And-
weirdly big thing.
I mean, people are really into it. And then there's this other game, which, Brad, I'm hoping you may know something about, because if you don't, I actually took some notes. Necropolis. If you heard anything about Necropolis?
No,
It is
absolutely
likened
no idea.
to Dark Souls, actually.
Oh, it's that 2D Dark Souls ripoff thing.
Yeah, angular art style, changes every time you die, you fight
There
yourself.
can be only one Dark Souls.
I don't think
Come
I've ever
on.
heard
I don't know.
more of just Brad's.
Okay, so
bull
next time we do a random
than just
access,
now.
we're going to let Brad talk about all the things that Brad wants to talk about, which
Well,
means 15 minutes of
eventually-
dumb.
I get to talk about Bloodborne.
Okay.
But not this
I'm sorry.
week.
That's all I had, Rob. Thanks.
Okay. Next up, it's time to take a little stroll down memory card lane.
Dear God, this
The
book terrifies
trees
me.
are alive.
I was thinking Kid Rock's Sweet Home Alabama
No,
cover.
we definitely go down the John Denver route, which is
Oh
wrong.
man, I mean, such a good cover.
Swinging, sweet home, swinging, singing. I don't even know.
All right, so the basic idea here is
I am not in any way, shape, or form a Kid Rock fan.
Kyle is a Kid Rock fan. Don't
I'm
let
a
him tell you
huge
otherwise.
Kid Rock fan.
Okay, good. I didn't want you to.
So the idea
Open
here
the damn book.
I
is
might go to the $20 concert.
Just go.
we randomly flip through the book, we find a video game, we start talking about it immediately. Here's what we got for this week. Devil May Cry 4?
I actually had that game. It's the only Devil May Cry I ever owned.
Yeah,
I only owned the first
I have shamefully never played a Devil May Cry game, but I there's so much weird criticism towards Devil May Cry, isn't there? Like,
It's like Bayonetta. If you just ignore the story, it's awesome. Like, literally just skip everything.
Blood
this is
and
not-
demons,
this
get
is
it.
not the game for me then. I
Yeah,
don't
if
know.
you like story
I
in
like
games,
story.
avoid Devil May Cry at all costs.
Whereas if you hate story like Brad does,
Yes,
Which
and you just
clearly
like to play
Brad-
games
which-
instead of if I
Shut
wanted a
up.
story, I'd read a book.
Shut
or
up!
watch a
You
movie.
hate story, and yet you rave about Metal Gear. So
Which is
I
all
love
about
Metal Gear.
story.
No,
That
Metal
is
Gear has
all
amazing
games.
gameplay.
Half the game is a movie.
all game.
Stealth game.
I
You
mean,
don't
it's
even
all
play for
story.
60% of the time.
Hey, you guys back off.
God.
I love me Metal Gear. Metal Gear is the exception, not the rule.
really? Really, Brad? You've never mentioned it before. Your love for Metal Gear is a complete surprise to us all. Including our many listeners.
This is.
I think I
This is
missed.
already the best episode
I'm waiting
ever.
for him to do a mic drop and be like, I don't have to take this abuse, man. Just walk out.
We'll just kick the power cord again.
Don't you touch it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
I
check
literally
it out.
don't even. I
I
didn't
love
even-
this. This is
You guys
great.
don't even know.
So, Devil
is
May
great.
Cry 4.
Devil May Cry 4. It is a good action adventure game. You play as a character, and you have a sword, and you chop
Okay,
enemies
even I know who
with
the character
sword.
is. Say Dante for
No,
God's
you don't
sake.
play as Dante.
Oh, you don't?
play as some other white-haired kid. And Dante
Not to be
is a
confused with
side
Raiden
character.
from-
His name is Nero. That's his name. You
Oh,
play
yeah.
as Nero. And then Dante comes in halfway through the game, and it's actually kind of dumb. So you play through half the game, like all the environments or whatever, and then it switches over to Dante's perspective. And you go through the exact same levels that you just played as Nero, but as Dante.
I got a bad feeling we're getting a lot of hate for this.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
It's a good game. I mean, I like Devil May Cry, I like Bayonetta. I love that style of game. Like,
It's kind of like a hack and
yeah,
slash.
like action slash hacking.
That's what
and
Final Fantasy Type 0 HD is.
combo
Kinda like that.
focus.
Is it?
Yeah, it's that concept, but dark.
It is M rated.
It is M rated. As a matter of fact, the only in
Final
the series that's M rated.
What, Final Fantasy?
Yes.
Type O's M-rated?
Yes.
Yay!
So it is, dude. It's bloody
Come on.
evil.
Oh, sorry, I probably just capped it
That's
there.
all right.
Yeah. At least one a show.
Dude, we're all old here. We're old enough. Final Fantasy fans, I think.
Speak for yourself, man.
No, I just
I'm
think
a baby.
I just think Final Fantasy fans, are mature enough where we can kind of
Handle blood.
dig a little deeper. I mean, leave that for Kingdom Hearts, where you can kind of have that kind of like
Or a Chrono Trigger remake. Please,
remake.
Come on, wouldn't it be cool to see it, to have them update it? And
No. I'm talking sequel.
that's not
Didn't they
Chrono
make a
Cross
sequel?
terrible.
Yeah.
They already did.
Chrono
I
Cross
know
was
what Chrono Cross is, but I'm talking
horrible.
like continue the series.
I
Keep
think
it
that would be
going.
okay.
Keep it going.
I think it could be okay.
I think there's enough.
Come on, there's
audience
enough
for Chrono
time
Trigger
twists and
and
26 endings. You can make it happen.
right. I think there's enough audience for both Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross
Oh,
that you
yeah.
can keep this series going.
Yeah, I think so. Anyway,
What were we talking about again?
Devil May Cry 4.
we really have serious
I
problems.
think we're finished on
We've
that one.
established that Brad is a baby.
Yes, Brad is a baby. I'm kind of like the middle child.
Are you older than him? He's older than you.
Yeah, Kyle's older than me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
20. I'm almost 26, dude.
Good for you. Oh my, good for you. How old are you still?
I don't want to give out my age.
You can just drink
on the
now,
internet.
right? How are we
A little older than
friends?
that.
22?
23. I'm turning 24
Oh my God. When's
in a couple
birthday?
months. August.
Okay.
A couple months.
Another one,
Happy
another one I
Happy.
find hilarious that one of my good friends, who's like also like a grade under him, is older than you. I think it's
Robbie?
hilarious. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, it is pretty hilarious.
Anyway,
Well,
Rob,
you get late summer birthdays. Think
Rob,
about
we're all
late
jamming
summer-
out so, now. it's time for the feature presentation.
Which is an awesome one.
Dear freaking God.
Super excited.
All right.
Is it too soon or too early to just like trash this whole episode?
I
and
am
start over.
going-
No, we
just
don't have
kidding.
enough time to start over.
No, we can always cut out the parts we didn't like there.
Oh,
Editing is Rob's forte.
Pika.
Yeah, he's good at it.
I think people like the craziness, though, so we'll probably just leave
I'm
it
telling
be.
you, I think people like the dumb.
I think people do like
The power of dumb.
They'll certainly get their fill this week.
In 10 episodes, it's going to be like fart noises and screaming for like
We'll have
90
totally
minutes.
devolved.
Oh, man.
We could do a show drunk. That could be entertaining.
Dear God.
Rob. I think
That's almost
I think
what
Rob
the
hates
Smash
us right now.
extravaganza was.
Rob hates us so. Okay, let's bring it back down. Come on.
Bracket it down.
Okay, so
Feature
this
presentation.
week we're talking about the Mega Man games.
Yes.
Okay. Everyone had a little bit of excitement there.
Oh,
that
oh
was-
hell.
Just a taste.
Yeah, well.
That was the tease for later.
Anyway,
Oh.
yeah.
You need the audience going, oh.
Actually, while this is
noise.
this is probably a good time to say this. I think my blood sugar's low. I'll be back.
Okay.
Pause.
No, actually, you guys can talk.
We got it.
After he just said he wants to talk about it.
Okay. So the Mega Man series.
Mega Man.
The original series called Rockman in Japan.
Yeah, fun fact.
Yeah.
Why I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to ask if
Well-
anybody knew why.
Rock
think-
and roll.
Well, I think
That was the
before roll, I think, and this is just me completely guessing here, but I think the idea was rock paper scissors
interesting.
because that's
Skizzer Man.
because that's the way that the
Yeah.
that the and you even see that in the first game. You've got a rock based in Gutsman. You've got a scissors based in Cutsman. You don't have a paper based, so I guess that kind of
your
blows
theory
away
as a
my
whole.
theory right there. But the idea being that you beat a boss, you use that weapon on the next boss, and you go through the cycle to
right.
take the easiest path, or if you prefer, just take the hard way. If you'd rather have the extra challenge, you don't have to use the weapon that someone is weak against
Do
on
the whole
them.
game on the P Buster.
Yeah, if you wanted
Whatever
to.
it's called. The P shooter.
So the
Literally, the P. It's the letter P.
I got it.
yeah.
For all you listeners out there.
Oh my.
The game follows an android created by Dr. Light, who was originally supposed to be a lab assistant, named Mega Man. Dr. Wily reprograms the robots. He was originally Dr. Light's assistant, like his kind of co-scientist. And Dr. Wily kind of goes evil and reprograms the robots they had designed for various industrial tasks. For his own nefarious purposes, and then at that point, Mega Man gets converted for battle to take the fight to the enemy. The series, as we mentioned, is notable for allowing you to choose the order of stages. There's a strategic element there. So we want to start off just kind of taking just little sub-chunks on these, and we want to start off with the first era of kind of Mega Man through Mega Man 3.
Which is really the prime years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason the series even
When you
exists.
think Mega Man, these are the games you think.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Mega Man, though, Mega Man 1, notable for being not that great. Really
I
is.
didn't like it all that much, honestly.
It doesn't age very well either.
It didn't.
It's
Well, I mean, it's the graphics are pretty much the same as 2.
I think the graphics are way worse. In
Really?
one.
Yeah.
There's way more flicker, there's a lot less
A lot
going
of
on.
flicker.
There
There's
is
a
a
lot
background-
of flicker.
The backgrounds are very like it's just like a color.
Yeah.
And then in 2, there's a lot more going on. I mean, it's NES. You can't have a ton, but
The difficulty was higher, I felt.
it's
first
insanely
one.
hard. It's the worst parts of the Mega Man difficulty. Like
Yes.
when you think of like annoying hard parts of
Disappearing
Mega Man,
blocks.
Yeah, that's like all what Mega
Let's
Man
talk about
is.
Heat Man and disappearing blocks over gaps.
I'll never
and then it
forget the
glitches you
time-
through the wall, and you're like, "Yes, I made it!" And then he died at the next one. Oh, damn it!
Oh, we'll get to Mega Man 2.
Yeah, we will.
Because I have a lot to say on Mega Man 2.
Oh, we have lots to say.
Yeah, Mega Man 1 doesn't age very well. It's skippable. If you're going to play Mega Man, you don't have to start with the first one. It's, I don't know, not that
Concur.
great.
Only 6 bosses.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everyone
versus
else
Later
had,
became
8.
8. Later on.
Here they are.
May or may not be on Nick.
Yeah, I'm not
Cage's
sure our
t-shirt.
listeners are getting that you have a T-shirt on right now.
Yeah, I'm going to take a
That's
picture and
got-
post it with the show.
Yeah, we usually
Okay.
do these naked.
Oh.
Kyle's coming back at an excellent time. We were just talking about
how
nudity.
Mega Man 1 is way harder than the other ones and is not as good as the other
Yeah,
ones.
the one that comes to mind is the Bubble Man stage. Wasn't that in?
No, that was
Bubble
2.
Man is 2.
That was too. Well, that was kind of weird. Anyway,
That is very hard. There's
It is.
black spikes at the top. And
well, I'll bring that up
Yeah.
that later then.
Yeah.
We'll go in order.
Yeah.
How about that for a change?
Sure. Yeah, but at the same time, I think the Robot Masters are the most iconic in Mega Man 1. I feel like because that Fireman, you had.
Well, because you do all the basic elements, and then from there on, you're doing the same
You
basic
stretch
elements
it
with
so
a
thin.
weirdly
But
different name.
it was really weird. It was really hard. It was really sort of yeah. It was just hard. It was hard. You're right. Sorry.
That's fine.
Kind of coming in at a weird time.
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Mega Man, the original one, worst box art ever.
I love it. It's so bad.
I think it's
that
hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about what came before that in terms of, I mean, with the glaring exception of
You look
Super
at the
Mario
era.
Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you look at all the Atari cartridges that had
Yeah.
the terrible box art. It's kind of in line with that
Yeah.
in terms of hideousness, actually.
What I love is it's like they didn't think Americans would be able to handle like the Japanese anime-looking character and
they
art
usually
and
don't.
stuff. So they went with this like
Semi-real.
RoboCop-looking like, pistol
RoboCop.
shoot. It looks so bad. It's hilarious.
As far as like, I don't know. I don't think Mega Man looks that anime-ish. Like,
Well, no, I mean in the game, the artwork totally, but on the box though is where they had like these generic-looking like police action sci-fi Blade Runner,
Yeah.
whatever you
Yeah.
want to call
I
it.
hear you.
With like the grid patterns on the
Yeah.
ground.
But
and
the
all
first
that.
one is especially bad. 2 isn't too bad. Well, I think in like 4 is when they finally started. Maybe it was
by
later.
4. Well, by 3, I think they were doing the animated covers.
Oh, was it?
If I'm remembering correctly.
But 2 wasn't as bad.
And then they went back when they did 9 and 10,
Right.
Yeah, and they made
which was kind of awesome actually.
Yeah,
And we'll get to
in a
those.
retro kind of standpoint.
Yeah.
But I do also find hilarious that in one of the canceled games, I think it was Mega Man, like Universe or something. It was like, they had like 3 different Mega Mans you could play, and the bad box art Mega Man character was a playable character in the game.
In fact, in like Marvel vs. Capcom or something like that, there's a character you can play as the box art Mega Man.
Yeah,
like,
that's right.
He's one of the
Weird.
skins or something like that. Yeah,
Weird.
Yeah,
it's
dude.
pretty funny.
It's I thought that was kind of funny.
No.
All right, anything more on the original?
Oh
It
no.
laid the groundwork, and it was a
It
good
did.
first effort. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, I
it-
don't think
one
it's a
of the
bad
weird,
game. It's
yeah,
just
it's nowhere near as good as its sequel. Like nowhere near as good as its sequel. It had a score meter, which was ditched in the later games. It was a thing of like every NES game had a score, and it was just like a string of like 7 digits.
because
and
yeah,
you're like,
what
who
was the
cares?
point at that point?
Yeah, why?
Like, there was a clear objective for Mega Man.
Yeah, just get
You
through
didn't
the
need
levels
points.
was enough. Like you don't need points.
No.
So it's interesting to note that they ditched that for good reason.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Mega Man 2.
One of the great games ever.
Yep.
Currently featured on Nick's t-shirt.
Currently
Yes.
featured 80stees.com. What? Yeah, look, Mega Man 2, Brad and I had this argument several weeks back that apparently he said I misquoted him, which I know I didn't because I never ever do that. Mega Man 2, greatest of all the Mega Mans.
Easily,
He
yeah, I
stated
agree.
Mega Man 3 at the time. I'm pretty sure if you go back and listen to the show, you said it.
No, I never even played Mega Man 3 that much. I don't know where you got that.
Lies. They totally said it. Well, anyway, regardless, 2, of course, as we discussed, is great. The music, I think.
Oh,
Some of the most
Yes.
enduring video game music in general, particularly the upbeat stuff like Stage 1, Dr. Wily.
yes.
Oh, my God.
Oh, God.
I just remember the first time I got there, I felt so cool because that music was so epic. I was like, yes, you have arrived. And then you fight that you climb up and you have to use all the different
All the
items
items, yeah.
to get to the top, and then you jump across the blocks to fight the infamous green dragon in the black
Oh,
background.
that stupid dragon's probably the most annoying
Metal
part
Man.
of the game. Yeah.
Anyway, so
Metal Man is the answer to most of life's problems.
well, because he could shoot at angles,
Yep.
so you
Yeah.
could have dodged the fire. And anyway, so yeah, I mean, look, game
Don't
was
you
great.
use,
One of the powers of Smash Bros. Too. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
and rightfully so. So is Crash Man.
Yes.
So is
Crash
Woodman.
Yep.
In fact, a
I
lot.
love the wood shield.
Yeah.
Wood
Wood Shield-
was
Look,
iconic.
in fact, almost
That's-
all the powers they gave Mega Man, even the Dr. Wily Castle in the back, was for Mega Man 2.
They gave him
Right.
the top man drop, didn't they? In
Well,
Smash
that's
Bros?
unfortunate, but yes.
You use Rush as your up B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to bring this up early, and but also just something to point out: all these characters are Battle Network bosses.
From Mega Man 2,
really?
he's saying.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
All of them.
way.
Like not all the
Flashman's
not all the
awesome.
Robot
I love
Masters
Flashman.
stay
I didn't
as
know
bosses in Battle Network, but every single one.
Here's,
And look, I know people give you guys were talking about Bubble Man. I know people give Bubble Man Stage a lot of crap, but that game
I don't
was
think it's that bad.
awesome. I didn't think it was that bad either. I didn't really. either.
I just hate the
It's just
black spikes.
I love the black
Insta-kill.
spikes. You gotta have
It's-
insta kill. Come on, Mario does it too.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. That's what
It's just the
reminds me of.
only time in the entire series where they actually had a straight thing where you had to go up, and it was just kind of made it difficult.
Yeah.
And so whenever and obviously all these problems were solved once Mega Man X came out, but they never really revisited that kind of game mechanic again unless it was like straight falling, like in Quick Man's.
Speaking of which,
is it
yeah.
Quick Man stage where
Yeah,
Yeah.
you drop with the laser beams of doom.
Dead
No.
on. That's like the exact noise.
Yeah.
I may or may not be obsessed with that game. I have it on my 3DS and I play it daily.
I should get the 3DS one. I have it on Wii
It's
U.
great.
Anyway,
Out of these
so
Get it today.
just think the mechanics in that are flawed because you just kind of add some unnecessary difficulty in
That
the,
is why you have to
Unnecessary
beat
difficulty in
Flashman
Mega Man?
first so that you can freeze the
Yeah.
damn screen so you don't die so
You can't
quick.
freeze the black spikies, though.
No,
I mean-
but
That's what he's talking about. He's not talking about Quick Man.
Oh.
Quickman's easy.
I'm talking about Bubble Man.
I
What's
do
wrong with Bubble
Quickman
Man?
first
Don't jump.
sometimes.
Don't push the damn button so hard.
Okay, fine.
And actually, if you think about it, that was really the first game that kind of sensitivity was
Timing,
even
really.
in there.
Yeah.
No, because if you push the button versus tap the button, you jump differently. So if you really if you were one of those, especially, and what's funny is the stage kind of makes you want to push hard because at the beginning you kind of have to push it really hard, really fast, and
Yeah, it
not
teaches
fall on
you
those.
kind of, yeah.
Exactly. So then you get there and you're like, "This game's terrible. Why would they do this to me? You're horrible." But it's genius.
Yeah.
Genius.
All right.
What pisses me off is in Dr. Wily's Castle, I think it's like the third part, you have to fall through the spikes. And you have to tilt
Yes.
your angle of
Yes.
descent.
Yeah.
That's the most annoying part of the game. That's the worst part.
Game is so good.
Yeah.
God.
What,
It's good. It's
Open
great.
discussion here. What order do you go in? Who do you start with?
Flash.
Yeah. Oh,
Flashman? Is he the one that has ice
the
cube
freezing.
looking-
The freeze.
He freezes.
Yeah.
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 I
I
usually
love-
do that, or I do Bubble Man.
Yep.
Actually.
I usually do
Those
Bubble
are
Man
my two.
first.
I usually do Bubble Man about third.
Yeah. Either one.
Flash just because he's relatively susceptible to the arm cannon alone, and then Metal Man because I use his weapon for everything else afterwards.
Oh, you gotta.
For the longest time, I always did Flashman first and then Quickman second, just because you get that flash.
Yeah.
Bomb
Well,
or
but then
whatever
then Bubble Man takes out Woodman. in
Woodman's
4
easy
shots.
to kill by himself, though.
He is, but if
Like
you want to
without
kill him
a-
in 4 shots, you just get the bubble lead. And
The
then
bubble
you're-
lead.
I think it's lead, but anyway.
I love that that's one of those weird translations.
I
Nobody
think you're a
knows.
weird translation.
Is it lead? Is it lead?
He's lost in translation.
But yeah.
Greatest game ever.
You always got to do Heatman last.
I love
Because that, you got to get all the items
Yeah.
first. You got to get over that.
That music is awesome.
2 weeks. 2 weeks in a row now, we've kind of had open discussions about our favorite games ever. Like, I had the Final Fantasy last week,
Love Final Fantasy.
and then now you're talking about your favorite game ever. And
Mega Man 2 is probably like number 8 for me. Top 10 games
I love it.
ever.
I don't remember what I put in my list.
I don't know what
It's
you
like 2 or
you don't have
3,
a
I think.
ranking.
I need to.
You just have to top 3, and then
50.
Ocarina of Time, Rez, Metal Gear,
Idiot.
everything else. ever
God. Everything else falls into the top 10.
made. PT,
Idiot.
Ground Zero. I'm
Anyway,
just kidding.
check out the article on GamerFeedRadio.com.
yeah,
All right, Mega Man 3.
I like it.
I like that it introduced Rush.
Yeah,
That was the endearing
items.
Yeah.
quality of that, which I think was Capcom's response.
And what was the name of like the Dark Mega Man or something like Proto Man?
Proto Man.
Proto
Yeah.
Man.
Introduced
it was
in
his
3.
brother, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't. I mean, the concept of him was actually in 2, if you consider the little dudes in Flashman stage kind of look like what Proto Man
Yeah,
became
they do.
Yeah.
from a design angle. But the whole concept of this rogue, I can't even do the whistle. Can you do the whistle? The whoo,
I don't
or whatever it was. And he would come down, and then he'd be like, rah, 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 and something would happen, and it's just like, really?
right.
That was interesting. The only thing I remember from that game is, was it Magnet Man?
Yep.
Yeah.
And
I remember the
that
lizard.
stage sucked. It was just like Heat Man, with the
Yeah.
stupid blocks. Only everything was a puzzle, and it started really easy. And you're like, "This level's gonna be cake." And then by the end, you're like, "If I fall off this block one more time, I'm gonna throw this Nintendo controller through my tube TV." Horrible.
Yeah.
There was what was the Lizard Man? It might have been Lizard Man.
It
or
was.
something like
I think it was
Snake
Lizard
Man.
Or
Snake Man.
Oh yeah.
That level was horrible.
that's the first one. You got to start with Snake
With
Man.
all the dark forest green color
Yeah.
scheme.
I like
Yeah.
that. I've always liked that kind of color
You
scheme.
would.
But I love the Forest Temple in Ocarina of Time for that reason. Just kidding.
Here we go.
What was there was Galaxy Man? Wasn't that one of them? Or like Space Man, something like that. In 3,
Gemini.
Gemini. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Not Galaxy.
See,
It started with a G.
Yeah, where
He had a cool
split into-
stage. It was
Yeah,
very
yeah.
flashy looking. I liked it.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I think they did enough. See, that was a good example of an iteration that was done well.
Yeah.
I don't think any of these games are bad.
Oh, wait. We haven't gotten there yet. Keep going.
I mean, well, any of the original SNES games. I don't think any of them are bad.
NES.
Yeah, NES.
Yeah,
That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
But yeah, if you're asking me,
2.
2 easily.
Easily
Yeah.
2. Oh my god.
2 is
Doesn't
one of
even-
like the most influential games. One of the easily.
makes me want to play music through the speakers.
When you
right
think of like greatest NES games, especially, it's like Super Mario Brothers, maybe Super Mario Brothers 3, like
And-
Zelda 1, and then Mega Man
and it's
2.
almost
Like, it's right
always
there.
made available on the eShop for every Nintendo console
Yeah.
generation, so everyone
I
gets
had it
to
on
enjoy
Wii
it.
and then upgraded it.
Right.
Except for Greg Miller, the infamous Greg Miller, who tried to play this game and was abysmal.
Oh, I watched their YouTube
Colin
series. It's very
was like, dude, you can't even get past the first. He would kill the stupid frogs, and he didn't understand that the little baby frogs would spit out, and then he would die. Like he would touch those stupid, panels,
Yeah.
and it would die. And he was like, "This game's stupid." And it's like, really, Greg? You've played how many super difficult games, and you can't jump and shoot at the same time? I think it was an act. They do it for money. Anyway,
Game about jump and shooting.
They nickel and dime their Twitter followers for
hey, you know what?
Patreon subscriptions.
You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay, so we've established, finally we've put to rest the whole 2 versus 3 debate
forever.
that Brad fired up a few weeks ago.
I don't know
You
where this
did.
came from.
I'm going to find it and play it to you.
I don't think it exists. I
I'll
think you
serenade
guys
you with it over
made
the
it up
phone.
because I've never even played 3 that much.
I'm a
like,
serenade
ever.
it.
I don't know.
So items versus rush, how do you prefer like the extra stuff?
You got to do Rush. I mean, I like the items. I like the games that items are in.
I mean, Rush is cute and all, but
Right.
It's a cool way to make it a character.
I mean, really, if you
tie
think about
together.
it, like, who really jumps on his dog?
What?
Just saying.
I mean, this is a robot dog. This is not a dog.
All the
This
dog
is a
owners
real-
out there are like, so
my
true.
God.
This is a fictional robotic dog.
Not in today's age and society, Kyle.
I
Pete
know,
would have been
but
outraged.
we're not even going to go in that concession.
outraged.
They're jumping on
No,
dogs.
you and I are on the same page in that regard.
Right.
Thank God.
Mega Man can ride on
Brad, on the
his
other
fictional
hand-
robotic dog if he wants to.
Brad can.
What? Brad,
And he
man.
Keep it out of my
Who-
video games, please.
Actually, the other difference, too, wasn't 2 and 3 where they changed Dr. Light to Dr. Right? Which was horribly stupid. Because the
I don't think
translation
so. I
was
don't know,
missed.
That's one of those things that's
They even
always
said it
kinda-
was a mistake.
Yeah, but I mean, once it gets out there, it's kind of hard to keep track of where
It should have been
it's-
Light.
It's
the
like-
whole time.
It's like the
purists
Bowser
know
versus
this.
Koopa thing. It's
Yeah.
like once it gets out there that there was a translation
So,
difference at some
Well,
point.
when it's Light versus Right is a little bit more convincing than Bowser versus Koopa. They're kind of like not even close.
this is just a question I have. What came first, Bowser or Koopa?
Koopa was the Japanese.
Koopa was the
name.
Japanese
Was-
version,
and
Bowser
then-
was the American version.
Okay, so is he still called King Koopa in
Yeah,
Japan?
It's
his amiibo says Koopa
what they
on
what they
the side.
eventually settled on was Bowser, King of the Koopas.
right.
So it became his title to tie it all in. It's the same thing they did with Miles and Tails.
So, okay. Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's Miles Tails power.
Right. Okay. Got it. All right.
So
Because I remember just playing the Mario games and then like, oh, it's King Koopa, Bowser. He's
Yeah.
Bowser now. Okay. All right. I never questioned it up until this point, I guess. So I was just curious.
You got to throw in that in Mega Man 3, you play through all the bosses of Mega Man 2
Yeah.
at the end.
Oh,
Pretty sweet. I love when games do
yeah.
that.
Well, I mean, that's a staple for Mega Man in general. There's
Yeah,
always
you
like
always
a
go through all
boss
the
room.
bosses.
That was the only
Yeah.
game where you did the previous game. It's usually just you just play through the characters from that you already beaten. You just refight all the robot masters.
Yeah.
But that was like previous. I was like, oh,
That's legit.
this just got super real.
Yeah.
And that became a regular thing for the series too. And then the Game Boy games started doing where they'd start mixing from game to game.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yep. Okay. Coolest boss.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
Metal Man. For show.
Boss / power. We'll say that.
The Metal Blade.
Metal Blade.
Metal Blades is about
Metal Man
yeah.
and Metal Blade.
I gotta look at the shirt here.
You know,
I did always like how Airman had a giant fan
I
as
liked-
his face.
I
It's just a
liked
cool
when
design.
after you beat Heatman, I liked Heatman because you could charge it up and then use it, which later became, I think, the prototype for what the M-Buster became, where you could charge
Yeah.
it and then shoot it
Yeah.
and get bigger.
Okay.
That was really where
Yeah,
we first saw
I
that.
keep forgetting you couldn't charge the M-Buster
Yeah,
till
and that was the first
Three.
game
Or two.
that you had the
Or
ability
no,
to
not
do.
two, but like-
four.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But that was the only game early on in the series that allowed you to kind of charge a power and then use it, which really, if you think about it, was amazing. That was my favorite
Yeah.
power, even though it was largely useless by the time you ended up getting it, unless you really followed the magic order. I just loved just walking around, charging it up all the way, and then if one stupid guy, and it would just like shoot the giant
Yeah.
ball of doom. Heat ball of doom. Legit.
I always liked Dr. Wily's alien UFO
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
hologram at the end of the game. I love that.
With
Yeah.
the most god-awful sound you ever
Oh,
ever
and his
considered.
It was
eyebrows.
designed
I love his
to be
eyebrows.
painful, I
That's
think.
the best.
Yeah.
So you really hated him.
Oh, I hate him.
Oh,
I
we
hate
all
him a
hate
lot.
I hated the dragon and I hated the bulldozer in 2. Like
I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 There's the other one where it's a room where the
and it's
blocks
like-
come
and it's
together.
like, "Pew,"
That
and
was
he shoots
easy.
down at you.
That's like deadly.
Dude.
easy.
Dumb.
Oh yeah.
But the Yellow Devil, though, that's
Ooh,
don't
that's
screw
classic.
don't screw around with the,
That's the
Yellow
most
Devil.
iconic thing that's from 1, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's like the only actually iconic thing from Mega Man 1, other than Mega Man himself. Like, I don't know.
Fireman.
Yeah, well, so I guess,
Anyway.
yeah. But like, I don't know. I think Mega Man 2 has overshadowed it as far as the robot masters.
I agree.
Sure.
Agreed.
Okay.
All right. 4 through 8. Oh boy.
Yeah, moving on. Once we got to kind of the 4 through 8 era was kind of generally
Horrible.
understood to be kind of like the series in decline.
Yeah, I never even played any of these, even the Super Nintendo one or whatever.
Yeah, there was a lot of
I play them all.
There's a lot of concern of the lack of innovation during this era, particularly what I'm calling the Fake Out series, which was 4 through 6, where each game you've got a new villain, quote unquote, finger quotes.
Oh, I did know this.
That of course all turns out to be Wily at the end of
Oh
the game.
my
So
God.
But that's what's funny like that, though, because, see, we're all judging this, but then you look at a series like Zelda, and it's always Ganon, even though he has stand-ins in the past. Like
Except there's some
Zant, like
exceptions.
Sia and Hyrule Warriors. There's these pawns that he uses, and then he comes out. Nobody says anything about that.
Well,
in
I
fact,
mean-
if it's not Ganon, you're pissed.
well,
at
if
least
it's-
I am.
If it's not,
Yeah,
if
no.
it's not Ganon, it's Vati.
Always Ganon.
Vati.
Because Vati had a few games where it was just
Well, that was the Capcom years, and I think they didn't exactly do it.
Wait, wasn't Ganon not in Skyward Sword?
It was Demise. It was like a pre.
It was
it was
the
pre-Ganon.
the thing that became Ganon, but
Oh.
it was understood. I think people got over it because Demise looks
Spoiler
and
alert.
it looks exactly like Ganondorf.
Well, read the Hyrule Historia for the love of God. If you listen to the show, read it. It's $12 on Amazon now. It's super cheap. There's no excuse.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was a brutal
Told.
endorsement. That was like a.
Yeah. So during this era, you had Dr. Cossack as the main villain, quote unquote, finger quotes, in Mega Man 4. Proto Man was allegedly the bad guy in 5, and then Mr. X was allegedly the bad guy in
Remember Mr. X.
6. All of which, of course, turned out to be puppets used by Dr. Wily by the end of the game. Mega Man 4 added the charged Mega Buster shots as a standard thing. It's worth mentioning, and we didn't mention this before, but 3 added in sliding.
Oh,
I thought
yeah.
about that. I didn't say
Yep.
it, but
7
Maybe you
was
should say things that are on your mind sometimes, Brad.
I mean,
when you actually have something important to contribute to the conversation, which you hardly ever do, by the way.
I'm
moved
glad
on.
we didn't.
We know.
I'm glad we didn't.
I'm sorry. I just like
me.
I just like picking on Brad.
You
gets
two
better, Brad.
need to go
It
make
gets
up
better.
later. Okay.
All right, sorry, Rob.
Oh, they'll make up.
What?
I don't know. So 7 was the first.
Apparently, Rob's going to force you. Okay.
7 was the first mainline Mega Man game for the SNES, but of course it came out after Mega Man X.
I just
so
know that it had horrible graphics.
No, it didn't have horrible graphics. It just didn't.
Compared to X, I thought
it
it was
tried.
really ugly.
No, it was just more basic looking. It just looked more. I mean, it's a more basic game. It returned to the original style where you didn't have all the sliding and the wall jumping and all that stuff. And I mean, they added dialogue, and I mean, I know they add dialogue in X too, but in this, it just really didn't seem necessary. It tried to give Mega Man kind of a personality that came off as sort of like childish, and that's just not cool. And then they eventually continued that sin on over to the PlayStation game and Legends, and even the X games for the PlayStation, where Mega Man X had this high voice that sounded like a freaking child. I was just like, what? No, he has a blaster for an arm. That's awesome. He should be badass.
Yeah, it's like the ultimate example. We talk about story a lot. Like, you don't need a story.
Sometimes you just need a story.
It's just, you got 8 robot master bad guys. Like, that's it. Like, you don't need anything else. Like, I don't know.
Oh yeah, this guy he creates robots. He wants to destroy the world. Stop him.
Yeah, like that's all you need.
That's
video game.
Sonic's
It's not
problem. That's the
War
same
and
problem
Peace.
Sonic has too. Hey, there's this evil guy who builds a bunch of robots. Stop him from destroying the world. It's a great concept. Very common concept.
Stop making sense immediately.
What? Like it's just you don't have to overcomplicate things with story and dialogue.
Extremely.
Wow, apparently you're becoming a Brad convert. Story's dumb. Kill, blood, guts, skull.
No,
Ugh.
story is necessary in some games. Story is not necessary in some other games. Mega Man is one of those games where you can have like a little bit of story in there, but
Okay, that's
not like don't add a whole thinking like what eventually happened to the X series.
Yeah.
Like
even
X
X1
got
was kind of
way too complicated. No, X was perfect.
No, I mean like it was as a game perfect.
by
But, like,
X8
as far as like the whole cinematic like dialogue thing, it was
Right.
almost too much. It wasn't too much, but it was like even with the first one, it was pushing it. Where the whole scene where you battle, we'll get to X in a second.
No, go ahead.
But like you go to what's his name, the purple guy? I can't think of his name.
From
bad
what?
guy?
From what?
In X.
Sigma.
Sigma?
Yeah.
Or
he
Domino?
comes down and starts punching you in his big robot suit at the beginning of the game, and then Zero comes and saves you, and he's like,
Oh
"Someday you'll
no,
be as
that's
strong as
Vile. That's Vile you're talking
yeah.
about. Yeah.
I was like, Sigma's the end guy.
And
But-
Vile is the guy you think is the main bad guy.
yeah,
and
then
then
you
it turns
beat
out
him,
to
and
be
then it's
Sigma.
like 2 more bosses after.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Story not necessary.
right, and then
Consensus.
again, then 8 came out, which we're getting to, I guess.
Yeah, first one for the PlayStation and the Saturn.
Horrible.
This was the one that broke my back.
It was
It's the one
horrible.
that broke the series. There
The
wasn't
graphics
regular
were
Mega Man
terrible.
game.
It was, even though the graphics were okay. I don't want to say that they weren't terrible. They were just pastel,
Yeah.
cutesy, weird load times because now you're on disc-based games instead
Right.
of cartridge-based games. It was
Abysmal.
awful.
It was abysmal.
Is this the one that had like 3D graphics, even though it was a 2D game, or not?
Stupid, yes.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh my God. That literally gave me
All
motion
you gotta do is
sickness.
look for
Yeah, it
pictures
looked
of it and
so
be like,
ugly.
Oh my
why
God.
is it pastel green and pink? I'm telling you, it was awful. It was like trying to make Mega Man into something it was never intended to be.
Right.
Ever.
No.
Awful.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Die.
Terrible.
Die.
Alrighty.
Right.
Well, as we said, as Nick said, I think 8 kind of killed the series for a while, and then
Yep.
all the way back in was it 2009
Yeah.
when Mega Man 9 came out?
9, 10, yeah.
Around there. They do a new one, a new game in the mainline Mega Man series that is in every way respectful and in the
It's
formula
a throwback.
yes. So everything is retro. It's all 8-bit graphics. It's retro from the. It kind of goes straight for 2's jugular.
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
no sliding, which they added in 3. There's no Mega Buster that they added in 4. They do add these things in for Proto Man when they add Proto Man in his DLC as a second playable character. So now he has his own distinct identity where he can slide and he can use the Mega Buster and
Right.
he feels like a different character.
Sure.
Which I thought was really cool. They did that.
Yeah.
They started kind of maybe doing a little bit more with the story, with the whether it be robots facing recycling in 9,
And then
or the
virus.
Robo virus.
I
in
remember
10.
that.
Kind of as hooks for the story to base around. They had challenge modes in both games, downloadable characters and stages that they would roll out after the fact.
I'm not a fan of that.
Really?
Especially in Mega Man, because you think of Mega Man as like being 8 bosses, and that like defines the game. And this, they're adding extra playable characters, extra bosses, and like.
I don't know. I think it's kind of cool if you're just it's extra content, but it's like kind of rewarding to get because you feel like you're getting more out of the game by getting it, getting new characters, getting new boss fights. Like it's not like it's not like some DLC that comes with games where it just like put this shirt on your Mii guy or like whatever the Xbox thing is. This is like real like cool kind of stuff that you add to your gaming experience.
Yeah.
My argument is that the same thing I said for Shovel Knight, which had similar things in it that they rolled out over time. But I mean, I think on some level it's kind of expected with modern gaming. If you're going to do something retro, it's good to have something that modern tropes to put in there too. So it's not you're playing something from 20 years ago directly.
Right.
It's here are some achievements in there too, and things that you recognize from modern gaming, so that it doesn't feel complete like it's missing something that people expect nowadays.
Yeah.
Speaking of retro, I feel like this kind of started that whole thing. I feel like around this time, a lot of like retro gaming was starting to come up.
Well, this is also at the beginning of the Xbox Live Arcade. Not beginning, but like this is as it was kind of finding its footing.
Sure.
Like this is actually really when it was hitting its stride, I should say. Because it kind of stumbled through. I think it was like 2008. There was a game called Braid that came out, and that was a really big success. In fact, all this is kind of documented in the movie Indie Game the Movie, which talks about...
You watched a movie about video games?
Yeah, it's very good.
I'm shocked by that.
It's a very good movie. But they talk about Super Meat Boy. Have you ever heard of that game?
Yeah,
that was
of
another
course.
one that kind of exploded on the Xbox Live Arcade.
Super
Exploded.
Meat Boy.
But this is like right around that era, like 2010-ish, whatever.
I played Super Meat Boy. That game's awesome.
Didn't 9 and 10 have flicker graphics that you could like turn off?
Yes.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Like
I
it was,
love that.
it was built into flicker like
Like
the old NES games would do if you had too many sprites on the screen at once. Because on the NES it couldn't handle
the
all of
memory
that.
was so low.
Yeah. So they built that into the game so it would look like an old game, but you could turn it off if you wanted to.
Hilarious.
That's
I
so
loved
good
it.
though.
Clever.
The graphics were also really good on 9 and 10. It felt like it was more than what the NES could do, but still obviously looked exactly like the NES games.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more going on in the art style and all that. Like
Parallax scrolling in the background, things like that
stuff
that
Mega
you couldn't
Man 2
easily do.
would've-
Yeah.
Sure.
It's worth briefly mentioning. Did you ever play Mega Man Cross Street Fighter?
Yeah.
It came out free on PC. It's the same thing as like 9 and 10. It's like a new retro.
Except the bosses are all Street Fighter characters.
Yeah, and all the bosses are like Blanca, Ryu, Ken. Like it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's very fun and it's free. So
That is
check
that
it
is
out.
fan service at its
oh
finest.
god,
right
yeah,
there.
that's like the one thing Capcom's done
That's
right.
yeah. Capcom. Well, won't quite say
Another
that.
episode of crapping on Capcom. Crapcom.
Crap. Anyway,
All right. Anything more on 9 and 10?
No,
not really.
All right. Let's move on to the X series, shall we?
we shall.
Oh,
So this was the
yes.
first time that Mega Man in any form was brought to the 16-bit SNES at the
Next
time.
gen.
Since 8 didn't come along until a year after, I want to say.
Yeah.
But it kind of took
7.
7. Yes.
Yes.
thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. But the X series kind of moved everything to a different era where you're a different Reploid, actually they called them nowadays,
Yeah.
instead of just robots. But it's interesting, particularly in the first one where you're going through the game, you're seeing all these messages from the original Dr. Light leaving you hologram messages, and there's a new helmet and things like that you're picking up through the game, in addition to all the robot powers. Anybody?
I mean,
X series, go.
I mean, it had a very post-apocalyptic feel. Everything's kind of like destroyed. Cities are destroyed.
More mature content.
More mature. More kind of very darker.
Much
darker. Very darker.
Very darker.
Shut up, Brad.
Much darker.
Very much darker.
Very darker.
And you know what? I mean, that game blew me away when I was a kid. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely blew me away.
Yeah.
I didn't ever own it, and I was really upset about that. But my friend at the time did. So I would go over his house all the time. He lived 2 houses down. We all just play the crap out of that game, and I never beat it. I never beat it until I was much older and I got it on my Wii now.
Yeah, I never beat it until I got it on Virtual Console.
And I didn't know how freaking huge this game is. Like, all the stuff you can find, all the secrets, the Hadouken. You can find a Hadouken. I didn't know about that until I was, like, an adult.
There was one, I don't remember which, maybe it was Armadillo's stage. And that's another thing that I liked about what this series did was that it
Animals?
Instead of Robot Masters,
because it kind of changed things up because you still got one of them's a fire element and one of them's all that sort of stuff, but it's not like Flame Man and Blaze Man and Heat Man and whatever else it may be.
Only so many words to describe heat.
Yeah, where it starts to feel a little bit lame at some point, and one of them looks like an oven, and okay. But now
Broil Man.
But now they kind of
And his brother Boil Man.
but they kind of put a cooler spin on it in the X series, where it's just they're just robotic whatever they are, and it's more about what animal they are, and then there's an element on top of that.
The bosses are the best part of the X games.
Yeah, the character design got a lot better in that series.
And they have a brother called Soil Man, but they don't get along very much.
Shut up.
But there was one area in that game, I think it was maybe an Armadillo stage, where you had to like dash and jump up, and there was something hidden up there. That I could never do that. I could never get up there.
Take some
Yeah,
skills.
I think
I
that
need to go
was
back and
I think
play
that
that
was the Hadouken.
Yeah.
I have the X collection.
Oh, it was the Hadouken. It was the last Dr. Light little box
You
or
literally
whatever.
could not, like, even if you found it, it wouldn't be there unless you had everything else.
You had to do everything. That was the last one. And
all the heart containers, all the
Yeah.
extra armors, all the power ups, everything. I mean, it was just insane.
I remember it's like the minecart. You jump off this ledge, and then you have to dash jump and then wall jump like up to this tiny, tiny, tiny top corner of the level to get it. It was awesome.
Back when you really had to know.
That was like
your stuff.
deep cut, yeah.
Well, not just that, there was actual skill involved with it too, of being able to wall jump yourself up a single wall and things like that.
Something that clearly none of us apparently have a talent for.
Yeah.
But now I think we do.
Oh, I don't know.
At least I did.
Oh my
No, I mean I did. I got the Hadouken
I know me
the
some
most
Mega
recent
Man
time
X. I can do
I
I don't
played
believe
the
you.
game.
Nobody believes you.
Hey, well, back on. I love this game. I played
this game-
way more than I ever played the NES game.
Yeah, me too.
We should all witness this live to prove your metal.
I could probably get to the vast majority of the game without dying.
I don't believe you.
At least
I
till
could
the,
actually probably say the same thing for myself.
Yeah, easily the initial bosses I could get through.
Oh my
without
God.
dying.
I want to witness this live.
Oh,
I mean,
When are you gonna
if
invite me over
if
so that
you
I
do
can
it the
see?
most basic way,
if you
like,
do it in order, it's
yeah,
the easiest.
start with
not
Chill
easy,
Penguin
easy, but-
because he's
you
easy
gotta
as
do
shit.
Chill
He's
Penguin.
easy as crap.
That's the one where you got to jump into the corner and you're like constantly wall jumping, and he's shooting his little balls out.
Oh, you don't have to do that, man. It's just kind of all you have to do is like stand still and shoot.
Yeah, no,
he
I'm
dies
saying,
in a second.
There's a point where he like gets up in the corner at the top or something like that, and he's like blowing his ice.
Yeah, he's got like a hook and he holds
Oh,
on
that's
to
what
it,
it is.
and
Yeah,
it
it's a
starts a
hook.
blizzard. Yeah, yeah.
And he's blowing. Now
I
it's
know
all
this
coming
game.
back.
This
Yeah.
game is.
God.
I need to go back and play it.
So, moral of the story is,
chameleon.
when are we going to do this? Because I want to see it
All right.
happen. Because I don't believe any of
next
you.
time we're together, I'll play some Mega Man.
Easily.
Is it available natively on Wii U?
Yes.
Okay.
yeah.
That was going to be my next
And
question.
I have a Wii, so
I will
I don't care. I
download
got
that
it.
tonight.
I'm gonna go home and play it tonight.
Chameleon, Sting Chameleon, love Sting Chameleon.
Dude,
Who was
he
your
was
favorite
the-
boss in X? Mine was Boomer Karanger. That was the freaking dopest boss ever. I love that.
Design-wise, I always like Storm Eagle.
Yeah.
That was-
Plus, it was the first time.
And the glass would blow out.
Yeah. It was the first time you never were stuck in a room. Like you were in this
Yeah.
open space
Yeah.
battling. It was like,
Because
oh.
you go usually in the Mega Man games, you go through the one boss door, and there's
Yeah.
that dramatic hallway
Yep.
where there's nothing, and it's just to like give you a pause. But in
But
Storm Eagle stage, you go through the one, and then you kind of go up these stairs or whatever, and you go through the other, and then you're outside. And
Right.
It's so cool.
It's I mean,
They played
just
this
little
on
details
boss.
little details like that make this game so good.
The elephant, the fire elephant,
Flame Mammoth.
Flame Mammoth, yeah. His stage was really long. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't one screen.
Right,
was
it was on a
multiple-
treadmill. It was
yeah,
on a
it was big
treadmill. And also, if you use the boomerang,
Yeah.
you cut off his trunk.
Yeah, I knew that.
And that was like
yeah.
when I first did that. I was like, "What?
It's awesome.
His trunk's off!"
I owe to be a fly on the wall for that moment.
That's awesome.
Oh my god.
He's weak against a lot of stuff. He's also weak against. I usually did him.
So
Second.
he's not weak against it. He just cuts off his trunk.
He's
still
weak
one of those-
against
can't do
Brad.
his blue gene.
Everybody's weak
whatever
against
it is.
Brad.
Oh.
Not as. It sounded. I wasn't even thinking of.
Okay, so
Good night, everybody.
anything more on the X series?
Definitely declined as it got
Yeah.
like it started off so strong. Like the first game was amazing. I played the second one via emulator. Sorry, folks. Dude, I mean, like finding an actual copy of that game is like it's like a $300 game.
2 and 3 are like the rarest SNES games.
And then when they went on to the PlayStation, I actually really liked 4 and 5. I think the series kind of got a necessary upgrade, just better graphics, more technology. The loading time was a little annoying, but it had some extra story elements. But it didn't get in the way of the game. Like, and just the bosses were bigger. Like I remember, like there was like a giant Sigma boss that you had to fight, and that kind of seemed really cool. That you could have these bigger, more epic boss battles. But then after that, it just spiraled. I mean, it went 6 was just more 5 and 4, and then 7 and 8 they went to PS2. They were changing. They had new characters. It was no longer a side scroller.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was.
Yeah,
It just got really, really. I think it got caught up in its own longevity and trying to stay around. And I mean, that's you could probably argue that for the Mega Man in its entirety. It's just always trying to keep up.
But somehow Mario does it.
Well, that's because Mario always. There's always some key change with every like main Mario release that kind of breaks the.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean,
Mario 64. You can't understate that. Like that's one of the most important games ever.
it's
as
the
far as
second
getting-
most important game ever released behind. Hey, how about this? Super Mario Brothers 1.
Literally, yeah. Like that's the first game. It was like the first 3D game, and it was like the best 3D game at the same time.
Right.
Like everyone that tried to do 3D cameras and 3D everything after that still got it wrong. Like Mario 64 got it right. It's
Yeah.
crazy, really.
Yeah.
Like Mega Man, the 3D games are horrible.
Yeah.
Like, they
Well,
do not
almost
do
all of
good.
them.
I mean, like the Mega Man X 3D games.
Yeah.
Not
No.
like every Mega Man 3D.
Because I like Legends.
Yeah,
but
Legends
we'll get
is
to that.
good.
Well, we're there, so
ish.
Yeah, well,
Kinda.
these all lump, I think.
Yeah,
I have less
it's
to
kind of
say
like the
about rest of
miscellany.
the X series, the Zero series, and the ZX series all kind of lumped together.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Zero is good because it was more like the straight X games from SNES. It was
Yeah.
Game Boy Advance, 2D, like a lot of the same.
Plus, wasn't X a final
But
boss
hard.
in one of the games?
Everyone said
Oh,
their
that's
Zero
funny. I didn't
series
know
is
that.
very hard.
Oh, they
man.
are super hard. I played one. I didn't beat it. I couldn't. I rage. That's one of the-
Rage quit.
That might have been the first game I've ever rage quit.
Rob, what was the last time you rage quit? Don't
What-
answer that
oh, I've
question.
heard
What
this
day is
story.
Yeah. What's the most recent story
For me?
for him?
The Majora's Mask.
yeah,
Oh man.
Yeah, we won't talk about that right
we're
now.
not going to.
No.
How about
So-
you? What was your last race?
The Zero series,
don't really
Zero
see that
series.
Okay. Bull crap.
Alien Isolation was pretty hard. Some of the frustrating parts with the Alien.
I want to just
it
watch
feels
you
cheap.
yell and drop several F-bombs in a row because I've never
Actually,
seen you
like
get-
whenever I play old NES games, it's usually like literally if I go back and play
F-bombs?
like Mega Man 2, Wily's Castle, I'll freaking
This
like,
must be recorded
scream.
so that we can have that audio.
My most recent was probably 3 days ago playing XenoVerse. I just couldn't beat the damn guy.
Me raging in general is probably like every time I step behind the wheel of a car.
My
I get the worst road rage.
Dude, me too.
I hate
Me
every
too.
other driver on the road.
I hate
when I
everybody.
you are in the
everyone around
wrong
me.
town for that.
Oh, I know.
Oh yeah, terrible. That's why I only drive at like midnight when there's no one on the road.
Yeah. Oh, that's the best part about getting off.
Kyle's
at midnight is
cruising. He's got
everything-
some Taco Bell in the back. Oh my God, with my beer,
Yeah.
my 40.
I pick up a 6-pack, a pack of cigarettes, and some Taco Bell.
Nasty.
legit.
Nasty.
All right, Legends.
I didn't play those till very, very, very late in life.
Because, you're 90.
Right. God.
After
Sorry.
my
it's just-
second
well, I mean, I
grandkid,
remember
picked
like
it up.
my friend had them, and I was always watching him play it, and like it just didn't interest me at all because it was just like I knew my concept of what Mega Man was at the time was so solidified in my mind.
It doesn't feel like a Mega Man game. Really.
It's like a action based RPG almost.
It's like an RPG platformer thing.
Yeah. And I mean,
it has
they're
its fans.
very oh my god! I mean, people are upset about Legends 3 being canceled.
3DS,
absolutely raging. Like,
so wait, maybe you know this. Maybe anybody who knows this. Mega Man 64 was the same game.
But they took off Legend and slapped on 64.
Okay,
same game, terrible port. Came out like a year after Legends came out. And you go from
to their guns.
I know,
the 64 architecture, whatever.
And I mean,
cartridge.
The PlayStation was just in terms of hardware vastly superior. And you put a port like that. It was like same thing with Army Rangers or Army.
Sarge's Heroes.
Sarge's Heroes.
Army Men.
Yeah, Army Men. Sarge's Heroes. First of all, great game.
They're like these. They're
super addictive.
I don't think they would have held up. I think
but at the time they were super fun.
I used to play Sarge's Heroes all the time.
But the port from the N64 version and the PlayStation versions are completely different. Completely different.
Yeah.
I just don't.
But they're very story based, which I know I've kind of went on a tangent about how Mega Man shouldn't be. I'm gonna get to that. Kind of went through a point where I don't like Mega Man having story, but this game was set up to have a story, to have characters and development.
It's a spin-off. It's not the main series, so it feels like it's more acceptable.
So this is allowed. You're allowed to do this, Capcom. Didn't make any damn sense. Nothing about the games made any damn sense. I remember playing through the games. I was like, what is going on? Who is this? Why is this happening? Who are you? Are you a robot? Are you a person? I don't understand anything that's going on right now. Yeah. Very confusing stories. Like, you think Final Fantasy is confusing? No, this crap is confusing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, Battle Network.
Okay. Love. I
never played it.
I'm assuming I'm the only person who's ever played these games.
I'll be honest, I don't even know. Other than I know that it exists.
It's really weird. They're like these strategy RPG games.
These are straight turn-based combat RPGs. Like, not turn-based.
Well, it's because you have this grid, right? You have like a 9x9 grid, or not like that big, but I don't know.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
And you have battle chips, and you can select them. You can make a deck. And
so why is this not a game that you don't like, Mr. Card Extravaganza?
It's not that I don't
like it. It literally is kind of like a trading card RPG hybrid thing because you go around and you collect these battle chips, you trade them, you collect them, you buy them, you get them from killing enemies, and then you level up your Mega Man. There's like kind of like an not alter ego, but like there's two main characters. There's Mega Man, and then there's Lan Hikari, the guy who's controlling Mega Man. And everyone has like these things called.
Oh right.
Everyone has these things called net navies, which it's kind of like.
It's kind of Tron, basically.
It is literally like having your own Tron character, or like
Digimon or whatever.
What?
Where you have like the little
Digimon.
character.
Digimon.
Yeah, like you have the little. They jump into the game and work with you or whatever.
Actually, yeah, you're right. Actually, I didn't think about that for a second. I was like, "What are you talking about?" But no, that actually makes sense.
It'll happen every once in a while.
It will. But and yeah, the whole idea.
That deflated look on your face just makes it all worthwhile.
How does it feel, Nick, whenever
Don't
one
worry.
of the podcast picks on you?
There's a big difference.
Tell me how that feels, Nick.
The difference here is that
it doesn't happen
Brad,
often.
Exactly. So when it does happen, I can handle it.
Right.
I'm just waiting for you to break.
Never play.
Soon.
But, yeah. Anyway, every character in the series had their own like net navi, and they're all based off of characters in the Mega Man universe. Like your main rival had Gutsman. There's another character we totally forgot to mention, Gutsman. Your like female protagonist had Roll, and sort of, I mean, they were kids, so love interest is kind of strong here, but crush, high school crush thing.
Wow.
She makes me feel kind of funny.
Yeah, exactly.
What?
Exactly.
It's like a puberty simulator.
Why are we talking about this?
It's not quite a love interest because you don't quite understand it yet.
Right. These are like 12-year-olds, people.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. And then, and all these characters have net navis. They're basically robot masters remade into these cybernetic things. And, there's a different crisis every game where, this is going to destroy the internet or this is going to destroy the world. And in the first game, Dr. Wily's the main villain, which is kind of cool.
We should do a rated F show, X show. Just
I would
because
love that.
Rated F.
That's what I meant. I think it would be hilarious. Just
You
to
mean
do
like
one
uncensored,
randomly, where it's
like-
just like where you rated as explicit.
I wonder that could be something. worth...
I worry if we knew going in that we were going to put out an explicit show. I worry where it would head.
That would be
Well, I
hilarious.
mean, you can tell by all of the innuendo on every show for our loyal listeners that it just barely, like, it dips in, and then we all go, like, you know,
We
like,
all
for
back up
fear. But I
immediately.
wonder
Toe in, you're
if we
that's
did.
cold.
That's cold. But I wonder if we really seriously decided on one and, like, you
It could
know,
be good.
dropped a couple F bombs and just kind of.
We're getting very meta here. We're talking about
mean,
the podcast.
I just think I don't know. I know it's totally random and totally
no,
off topic,
I've
but
wondered about that.
I
yeah.
just we get so close. It's so there. Everybody knows what we mean. But I'm wondering if somebody was just like, bleep, 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 and then we were all like, yeah. You know, like if it would be okay.
Well, then, but we do have kids that listen to.
Right. Well, that's you just
Well,
tell
you
the
know,
parents
kids
not
nowadays-
to listen to that show.
Yeah, they're
I mean, kids
Instagramming,
nowadays are exposed to all sorts of things.
Snapchatting, you know.
Yeah, let's talk about Snapchat.
Let's
nope.
not talk about Snapchat.
All right.
not
Chat
do that
roulette
thing that
for a
sounds
new
like a-
generation.
Oh,
Oh, Tosh.0.
A blip on the radar of popular culture.
Tosh.0 made that.
hey, don't trash chat roulette. To
It's a
Brad.
very interesting story. It's a very interesting story.
Stop talking.
It's a very interesting.
Stop talking.
No,
Okay.
it's
We'll get
not.
there.
It's not dirty. It's not
Not
dirty.
that bad.
I don't know why I thought adding in a random access segment would delay, would stave off some of these random conversations that pop up during the rest of the
Oh no, that would never happen. Why would that
If
happen?
you think we should do an explicit show, tell us in the comments.
do like our Adult Swim thing.
Yeah, like Gamer Feed After Dark or something horrible like that.
That should be the episode where we all get drunk.
We could drink while doing it. I mean,
Well,
not
that's
like come
probably
in
gonna
lit.
that's probably going to happen on the arcade show because we're going to be going down to
Oh yeah, when are we doing that?
Yeah.
one of these. I mean,
Actually, we should
explicit
wait
drunk-
because end of March, that 16-bit arcade bar or whatever is coming to OTR, and they have as long as you have a drink, you can play any of the games for free. You don't have to sell those. They did say that some people like bring pocket full of quarters and like fake put them in the system because for the nostalgic feel or whatever. I totally think we should do that.
That would be awesome. Man.
That would be fun.
And it's
It reminds me of Rocks.
yeah,
Remember
and it'd be
Rocks?
new
Yeah.
and different. 16-bit. I can't remember the full name of it, but it's only in Ohio. There's almost in Cleveland, and Cincinnati's the end of the month.
I think it's very clear that we are done with Mega Man.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But
Actually, we could do like, what's your favorite game? The whole series.
All right, yeah, absolutely. Mega Man X, like
I
no
like-
contest.
I've got to go with 2.
yeah, two, legit.
2 because
Rob?
it's OG.
What's it gonna be?
Oh,
What's it gonna be?
I love to,
But
but I think as a fully rounded experience, I really like what X did.
Yeah, I feel like
Always a
X
tie.
was always what.
There's just so much to collect. It's not just being the robot masters. It's finding all of the armor pieces and getting the extra abilities and all that sort of fun stuff too.
And
So
an
that-
awesome soundtrack. We didn't
awesome
talk about
soundtrack.
the soundtrack.
Every-
I mean, as soon as I kick you guys out at the end of this podcast, I'm going to go download that.
I know. Oh my god, I can't wait to go home and play Mega Man.
Like a million years ago, I added you on Wii U and you never accepted it.
Oh,
what?
Stan Lye, right?
Dis.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like going to expire because
Is the me
you haven't
bald?
responded.
The attached me is bald. Okay,
Looks like
that's him.
You should add it. Maybe you just haven't like clicked on the friends square.
I don't even have. It doesn't even. It's not flashing at me or
Yeah. I
anything.
don't know. You should check it though.
I will check it.
Will you check it tonight?
Of course I will. Anyway,
Okay, so 2 for 2, 2 for X.
Yeah,
It's funny. Well, here's the thing.
It's
so
time
that
for
should
a
be the
death
pole position
battle.
question for
Yeah,
this
we'll
week on
make
Facebook.
it-
yeah.
Which one's better, X or 2?
Also, really, he's vulgar. He's nasty. He's a freaking moron. But if you haven't already checked it out, you got to check out Ego
Yeah, I
Raptor's
know
sequelitis
exactly.
on Mega Man vs. Mega Man X. Because
Yeah.
it is one of the most
It's like-
insightful ways to describe how the Mega Man
Yeah.
series has developed over time. And it's also
Hilarious.
damn hilarious. Like, he is a funny, vulgar
We have to
dude.
link it when this posts because it's amazing.
Okay.
But Mega Man X is like the Link to the Past compared to Zelda 1
That's
on
fair.
NES. Like
Aaron Hansen,
except
can I
think
come
Mega
on
Man
Game
2
Grumps?
is way better.
Please.
Stop.
Legend of Zelda.
Okay, music coming in now.
And that ends this discussion on all things Mega Man. You'll get to vote this week on Facebook, X
And many other
or
things.
2.
Well,
It's-
you know, people can suggest their other
No.
game they like
Absolutely
best.
not.
No.
If they listen to the show, they must conform to the laws of the show.
All right.
Check us out on Facebook. That's where you're going to find out all the answers to these questions. Twitter, GamerFeed Radio. We're on iTunes and iHeartRadio. It's where everybody else is. GamerFeedRadio.com. It's been a great week, gamers. Peace.
Okay.